paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe, and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, yeah, it's all right, refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying. I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And yes,
I don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
well, okay, Dr. Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Brainstorm Brewery. I know everyone out there listens to this podcast for many reasons, but I know that one of them is that you
Many
all
reasons?
like...
What about large reasons?
Well, if people like to learn. And recently I learned that...
Corbin, I've never seen a mini reason before. What is a mini reason?
a mini...
It's
like
a
little
DJ-sized reason. That's what
it's
we
like a
call
mini
it.
reason? Is that what you're
DJ
saying?
size, a DJ-sized reason.
Like a dried fruit?
Perfect.
Mini reason?
Now that you've completely derailed my well-thought-out intro, I wanted to say that I learned recently that the creator of Magic, Richard Garfield, his great-great-grandfather, was the 20th U.S. President, James Garfield. And I was curious if you all had a ancestor who was a president, who would it be?
What, you're letting us pick? What? That's not how 23andMe works, my guy. Like, you don't just get to pick your
I am
ancestor
related
like
to
it's
a president, actually. AFL-CIO president, Jimmy Hoffa. Was a
Corbin,
relative
you
of
don't
mine.
get to pick your ancestry like a Final Fantasy, like a fantasy team.
No, that's true. I'm one of Jimmy Hoffa's relatives.
Look, for DJ, it's clearly James Madison.
What's the layup here? What's the?
I googled shortest U.S. president by height.
Okay, there you go. I'm glad I can grab the low hanging fruit.
I think DJ is Alexander Hamilton because everybody thinks Alexander Hamilton was cool, but he wasn't.
I don't know if that's an insult, Jason. Like, I'll take that.
Yeah,
I don't know. Lin-Manuel Miranda made an award-winning lie about you.
I'm fine with being the
white people
scrubs of
awkwardly
likability. Like,
dance
if
to
everybody
it.
but you likes me, great. Like,
Yeah, well, welcome into Brainstorm Brewery, everybody. That's DJ and Jason. I'm
Everybody
Corbin,
thinks
and we are
he's
joined
so
tonight
nice.
by a very special guest. It is Rebell from Magic Twitter, from YouTube, from everywhere you can find Magic content. The content's amazing. Rebell, welcome onto the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. You know, what's kind of funny is I actually wouldn't be on Twitter if it wasn't for this podcast.
Oh,
I
no.
because-
I'm
don't know
so
if that's a
sorry.
compliment.
What?
So sorry.
It was a long time ago where I think you were running a giveaway for it was 10. I don't know if it was all 10.
it was
Our
So
a
the
dual
series-
lands.
It was all 10 duels, right?
Yeah,
So I usually don't do giveaways. So I was like, well,
it was a good
that's
one.
10 duel lands, right? So that's why I made Twitter.
What? Wait,
Wow.
what were your origin story?
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Oh no!
So in the future, if I do something completely unhinged to get canceled, it's not me, it's on you.
Oh, okay, well,
Why
we're
are
used to
you
that
more
decision for
successful than
sure.
all three of us combined? That's kind of bullshit. You gotta pace yourself a little bit. This is what 10 years
Sum
in
is
looks
greater
like. You
than
can't
the
be
whole of its
embarrassing
parts
us
or
like
something
this.
that. Whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
That's amazing. That is a great story, Rebel. Well, for people who are unfamiliar, tell us about your content on the internet and where people can find you and what they might be familiar with, and what
And whether
interests...
you've ever listened to our podcast.
Wait, what was the last thing, Jason?
If you've ever listened to the podcast.
Yes. And also the content I make, I'm mostly known for CEDH, but I make videos on YouTube that kind of focus on competitive Magic. That's where I'm shifting towards, and also just improving it Magic. So it's trying not to be only a CDH, but also just telling entertaining or weird stories for Magic. So I cover a lot of stuff. I'm like too active on Twitter, so you can probably find me there.
The term I have grown attached to is terminally online.
Yeah, very
Yeah, I like
terminally.
that. I'm not gonna lie, I like that. Although I think
Terminally in like the sense of the word that you think it is.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
I say pathologically online, but terminally is a good one too.
I like terminally because it has an end point. You get to think about the sweet release.
you
of death.
you know where it's leading. You
Yeah.
know, yeah.
Well, I mean, so that's one of the reasons we had you on, Rebel, is you made a very good tweet thread a while ago about playing at MagicCon Philly. and these events are very expensive. They just announced Magic Fest Minneapolis, Magic Fest, MagicCon, Magic Party, whatever they're called now. And I believe you won a Ragavan, right?
I did. It was very exciting. Yeah, definitely one of the highlights of I don't know if you can call it career, but my Magic journey. I
Hey,
guess.
I'm here for Rebel's competitive arc. Okay, it was very fun watching your updates throughout the weekend.
Well, it was really nerve wracking. So, yeah. Do we want to talk about like what do we want to talk about overall for
Well,
Magic
let's talk.
3?
Let's.
If
start
you've
with
heard this
the,
podcast, you know that we don't have a plan.
Let's start with the weekend though. I mean, it was a big weekend. You were there. You were doing the content creator thing, and you were playing a lot of Magic as well. So, what was the MagicCon experience like from your perspective?
Yeah, so actually, I would say I wasn't doing as much of the content creator thing, which is unique to Magic 30, actually, because every other event I've been at, like SCG Con or like Command Fest, Magic Fest in the past, it was the content creator thing where I would meet people, create content, record stuff. But Magic 30, there's this amazing event where you can play for, that Ragavan. There's also this amazing event that we all found out later during the weekend of, I think it was the Unknown event or something like that with Gavin Verhey, where you can get those playtest cards. So when I got there, I realized there was so much cool stuff to do. I actually didn't want to do the content creator stuff because potentially winning a Ragavan was just a much better payoff. And what was really incredible about Magic 30, at first I thought I was gonna go there because the installations are really cool, the cosplay is really cool. There's Game Nights Live, there's all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
But then once I signed up for that Secret Lair Showdown, it was kind of expensive. It was $150 for for you to play, and I've never paid that much for like a Magic event before. And I was thinking like, oh, can you imagine if like you scrub out, you just down $150 and that's it. And all you get is this fatal push. So from like an EV standpoint, they didn't really do a good job explaining what the pricing structure was. Yeah. Because they run 2 of those each day, and they're like qualifier. And if you qualify for top 8, you get to play in this day 2 qualifier where you can play for like a Brainstorm, right? But these $150 events, basically, you get this fatal push, and this fatal push on eBay right now I saw is $132. So there's that. Wow. You also, everyone gets a secret lair, like in addition to that, and also. The top 32 players, I think it was you get a box of Phyrexia, all will be one, or half a box, right?
And these secret lairs are event exclusive, right? It's not like here's a Post Malone secret lair. Oh, here's like a
it is. Oh, sorry, it is those. It is that
lands.
one.
It's like a secret lair that you can only get at this event.
No, so for that event, it is the Post Malone one. Like, it was random, so it wasn't like an exclusive one, but you do get an exclusive fatal push. So what was really funny is I tried to game it where I was like, who's gonna want to play Pioneer on a Friday morning, at Magic 30, right? No one's gonna play in this event. So my event had about 60 or 70-ish people, which isn't that many, players for a Ragavan, right? My chances are pretty good.
Yeah, because there were hundreds of people in Sunday afternoon PTQs.
Yeah, so I was also thinking, all the really good players are, up at the Pro Tour. I'm gonna dodge all of them. It's gonna be the easiest Ragavan to get. And then my friend queued for the afternoon one, and their event only had I think it was 30-ish players. So they played 3 rounds and drew in. I played 7 rounds.
Oh wow!
They finished before I did. And also, okay, so going back to that half a box of Phyrexia, I think the payout actually wasn't 32. It might have been 60 something. Essentially, the pricing structure was out of the 70 something players, if you won a game or 2, you're very likely to get even more pricing, right? So the theme of this $150 event is that it is just oozing with value, right? Like, it's so easy to come positive even if you didn't win like a Ragavan. And that was the same thing for like the Gavin Verhey event where we didn't know what it was, but I saw someone diagonal to me opened a playtest card that was a Mox Poison, right? And that's like $300-$400, I think, right now. In addition to like, it's very expensive. In addition to like the convention packs, in addition to like, you know, the all will be one. So they also happened to hit the Atraxa, and that event was like $40-ish. So Magic 30 is pretty incredible that way.
Well, that's interesting. We've talked about that on the show before, about how they may not be able to change the price of a lot of these things, but perhaps they can change the value of them.
It is a very easy way for Wizards specifically to subsidize these events with these rare cards, because if you're doing this if you're trying to promote the reward structure for like an SCG Con or a Command Fest, I guess not Command Fest, but like an SCG event, it's like the 5-digit number at the start of the tournament, right? It's like an SCG 20K, like Pioneer 10K. It's some amount of dollars giving out that Wizards isn't really incentivized to like increase for this. But it's like somebody won $5,000 from the Pro Tour, and then they sold their Jace for $5,000. So Wizards just gets to like double their prize pool with free Monopoly money that people can sell to us vendors, and then it is a very friendly ecosystem all the way down the chain in that way.
Yeah, and also, I mean, there were content creators in the command zone or around the con where they just received this secret lair Shivan Dragon, right? And that's like a couple $1,000, like $2,000, I think, or like a good amount of money, and that's just for like, you know, being there, right? I don't think it was just content creators. I think just other
people were just getting them in their backpack, like
Wow.
Somebody snuck one into a backpack of a vendor friend of ours who was at the table. Like, a Wizards employee just, like, Easter egged it into the backpack of our friend and then walked away, and he noticed 2 minutes later. It was
Morrow gave one to Slick Jagger because he was, like, the only person in the art thing.
Well, he went during the day to check out Mike Lindman's art show, which had an event that night, which was really cool. But, yeah, I got to talk to some of the Wizards employees who were a part of that, and they were all very excited, because for all the, you know, everything that goes along with an event like this, there are actual human beings behind it all who sometimes just want to make someone's day by giving them a cool promo.
Yeah, and so this part isn't something we talk about in the podcast, but it sort of goes into the entire theme of like Rebel knowing how to maximize the EV of these based on price structure. You can do some really, really loose math, but like that helps you get a general idea of like how much you can expect to get out of the weekend, even if you don't know your results beforehand. So like once you see these Shivan Dragons popping off, and like it's Friday afternoon, you're like, oh, they're just handing out Shivan Dragons that are selling for $1,000. What is this? And then you see that like, oh, serial number 295. So you just like do $1,000 times 295. That is $295,000 of Shivan Dragons given to the room, and you just divide that by the number of players that like bought tickets, and like that is technically
sounds
plus $20.
Yeah, suspiciously
it's like
math.
$20 for everybody in the room. Like you going to that event is like plus $20 for yourself theoretically. Obviously, very high variance, and like not everyone's gonna nail a Shivan Dragon, but you can run those kinds of like little quick napkin math numbers to be like, oh, if I'm playing in this Ragavan event, like there's 40 players, the Ragavan's like $5,000. Just me entering this event has a ratio, an EV, even regardless of your skill of Magic.
Oh yeah. So Elon Musk and I combine for an average of 150 billion each. And if you wanted to join our club, it would actually drag down how much Elon Musk is worth again. So I guess you should join the club, because it'd be funny if enough people joined the event that he was worth no money.
Isn't that club just called Twitter, though? Like,
it is. It is.
Yeah, I mean, he's really trying his best to kill Twitter, though.
He is working on it, it turns out.
But look, I could have ruined Twitter for way less than 45 billion or whatever he paid. 45 trillion, I think it was. It was a lot of money.
We just need to do another dual land giveaway.
Yeah.
I guess so. Look, that was a fun giveaway. Our Channel Fireball partnership paying off there, huh?
Channel Fireball. Well, you can channel all your fires. And
no, you can't anymore.
Non-commander.
Channel Fireball, where your store credit went away if you didn't spend it. Remember we had store credit at Channel Fireball, and we're like, we'll spend it later. Oh, they have a
used-
marketplace. Great. All our credits just going to transfer over to the new marketplace. Solid.
I used mine for what it's worth, but yeah. All right, well, we are going to let's wrap up MagicCon. I guess Rebel, are there any takeaways you took away from the event that people at home might want to know about that we haven't touched on if they're considering going to one in the future?
I think the events are just gonna be even better as they optimize, like as they figure out what people get really excited by. They're gonna just deliver more of that, and I think when you haven't been to one, you quickly underestimate like how fun the events are and how fast time will pass. Like it isn't really the same thing as like going to other conventions where you sit at the main event and then you leave. Like there's just so much stuff happening. Like I found myself just stuck in that event hall basically all day. And then I didn't even go to see the cool installations until Sunday. There was just so much to do.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and
So-
they've been very iterative on these too. Vegas was the first one; it was a little rough. And then they iterated more on that and changed things up and gave out different prize structures and sold different kinds of badges. And Minneapolis, I think, has the most number of badge options out of all these events. They have like a 30-day badge as opposed to like a more expensive one being the minimum. All these are including like a lot more different options, and like they're laying out specifically what you're getting beforehand, which people were frustrated of, like, hey, I got the Black Lotus package expecting all of these cool meet and greet things, expecting to be treated like a VIP, and they didn't feel they were. And now they're laying out like, okay, if you buy the Black Lotus package, here's all the products you'll get. You can run the EV calc on that.
I feel like if I were going to one of these as a person buying a ticket, I would either not go at all, or I would go and try to do the VIP, like the Black Lotus ticket, right? Like, as someone who's done Vegas a lot and done Magic events in Vegas, the absolute worst time anyone ever has is when they go to Vegas trying to nickel and dime their way through the weekend. And this isn't anything except to say that, like, it's not fun to be that person. Like, if you can't afford to go do the event, don't, right? You'll be happier because it's not fun to be in a position where everything is suddenly a million times more expensive than you think it is, and you're stuck in a different city, right?
Translation: Corbin hates poor people.
Yeah, that was definitely the a million disclaimers
Finance,
there
bro.
to say
It's
that
on people who don't have the money to do Vegas.
I've been. Listen,
You
the
heard
point
it
is,
here
I've
first.
been that person.
Wizards of
and
the Coast employee Corbin Hostler.
I've been that person. I didn't like it.
You know, when I first saw the pricing structure, or like how expensive events were at Magic 30, I thought like, why would I do this when I could get like a draft at my LGS for like $15 something, right? And I think the mindset has totally shifted after experiencing some of these things, because they have sealed events that are like $100 something, right? Because you get like 20 pack, like a pack out of X sets, right? Like really incredible experiences that I think players who might not kind of prefer that experience, like they might not care, but there are people who are like, oh, I'm down to throw $200 or something to have the wackiest sealed event I'll have in many years, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Yeah, that's definitely like the appeal of Magic 30, and if that sounds exciting to you, like you're gonna have a super good time.
So JJ and I are doing coverage of the Hunter Bird Memorial this week. Shout out to that tournament. You should definitely go check it out. At this event, I guess some context is every now and then on Twitter there's a conversation about high rollers and whether or not there's these people who would pay hundreds of dollars to enter an event. So they're putting it to the test. They're having a $250 whatever the RPT, whatever the regional championship qualifier is tournament. Big prizes, limited. So we're gonna find out.
I know Ely Cassis tried to do something similar. He was trying to get 8 people together for a
Oh,
modern
yeah.
vintage split tournament where it's like buy it as $1,000 and you get like a set of P9. Like you buy it as a 4-digit number and the prize is a set of Power 9, something along those lines.
Yeah, like because you always see people on the internet talk about, oh, I'd do it. Sure, I'd fly anywhere across the country. I'd love to play. So the organizers at the Hunter Burden were like, well, let's do it. So we'll see. Well, it'll be fun. But yeah, I mean that there are people who want to. Point is, there are people who want to spend a lot of money on events and just have that experience, and that's cool. All right, well, let's
If you're
move
going to
on.
Vegas, though,
We're
why
gonna-
would you go to a Magic tournament? Is what I want to know. Like, you don't have to. You can just go to Vegas.
Yes, that's well, Jason is the expert of that one.
Yeah, I didn't really go to the event in Philly either. So like the last few I've gone to, I've just sort of been in the city. Seattle too. Yeah, that's my new move. I think
It's not your new move at this point, Jason. It's your signature move.
it's just my move. Yeah. I like the gathering, but I don't like the Magic. So you can gather in a hotel lobby. That's all I'm saying.
There were some LobbyCon. All right, well,
I was
let's-
so pissed I didn't get to play enough EDH in Philly. I talk about like all this, but it's like, man, I brought all my decks.
Same, man. I got 0 games in.
0 games. I got a couple of games.
No, I take that back. I got one in at the hotel on Sunday night. I got one in. All right, well, let's move on to Breaking Bulk before we hit on Lord of the Rings, of which Rebel we know is a huge fan. I'm a huge fan. I'm not sure about DJ and Jason. DJ's probably younger than the movies and hates to read, so DJ probably hasn't seen these.
Hates to read.
You
Yep.
hate to read, DJ?
No.
What was the last
born,
book
I was
you,
born to read.
what was the last
I thought
book you
DJ was with Frodo.
What was the last book you read, DJ?
The Fire Sermon by Francesca Haag or Haig.
He had that loaded so fast, I don't know how to parse that.
He would have. He pretended not to know how to.
You tried to
pronounce
answer the
name.
question and stuttered, and then I had it ready. What is this? Like,
I don't know. All right. but
I'm
what I do
willing to
know-
accept the possibility that Douglas Johnson is literate.
How generous of you. We'll see how literate he is at Breaking Bulk, though.
Breaking Bolt time. Breaking Bolt time. Break.
Oh yeah, Breaking Bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking Bulk. The end.
You're pretty literate at the
all right.
segue.
For anybody who is new listening to this podcast and doesn't know how this game works, we are a podcast that tries to make your collection pay for itself. And so we all will pick a card that is frequently left in the chaff, in the bulk commons and uncommons or bulk rares. That is a card that you should not leave in those piles. It is a card you should take out, put in your little box of stuff to sell, and then you can sell it to a vendor down the line and help pay for your chunk of the MagicCon. And mine is a uncommon from Apocalypse that is void of color.
Jason, what's
What
in
is
that set?
I don't know if there were uncommon lands. in
Elfhame
Apocalypse.
Palace.
It was no, that was
Common
Invasion.
land, so no.
That was Invasion.
I'm just helping Jason get there.
Apocalypse.
If it will help anybody, it was reprinted in Double Masters 2022.
It doesn't help.
Devoid of color.
Do you think he means it's
Is it an artifact or a land? Like, you're being real tricksy, little
Void
hobbit.
cards were not in Apocalypse, Corbin.
Apocalypse was like 2000, bro.
And yet they're devoid of color.
Okay, so that set was like Enchantments Matter. It had the Battlefield Forge cycle.
All I know about Apocalypse is
And
the
it was
land cycle, I'm not gonna
reprinted.
lie.
And it was only Apocalypse. And how many is it? Just the 2 printings?
Just those 2 printings. Before the Double Masters 2022 printing, it was like a $3-ish, $4 card, and now it's like $1 or so.
$3. Apocalypse. Uncommon?
Yep.
Artifact or land? I'm
I think
stumped,
this card
man.
is tricking you because everyone thinks it's a rare.
That was what's tricking me for sure.
What is it?
Dragon Arch.
Oh, yeah, I knew that was
Oh, wow.
uncommon. I just thought that was too expensive for you to ever pick it for Breaking Bulk.
He's right though. It's under $2 now. It
Yeah,
was
it's okay.
$8 last year.
It was, yeah. It was a very early
yeah, it
EDH
got a
card, and now
reprint.
it's
It
not
is-
as good.
It is mostly seen in decks that care about number of colors things have. So you're playing it in decks that have just lots and lots of specifically multicolor things. And it's just 2 mana, tap it. You may put a multicolor creature from your hand into the battlefield. It's like the good old Belb's Portal or like that kind of little Quicksilver amulet kind of vibe.
Sure. All right. Hey, Rebel, when did you start playing Magic? Are you as lost when DJ goes apocalypse as I am? Or are you like a lifer?
When I started playing Magic, they still had Apocalypse starter decks at the LGS that I was going
well,
to.
you might have a shot at that one, yeah.
Well, my LGS still has them too.
And they
Now.
they still do. All right.
But
I've
they
been doing
used
some
to too.
Yeah. I've been doing some Strixhaven flashback draft on Arena. I love that format. And I remember talking about this card when it came out, and now it is, in fact, worth money. It is a blue uncommon from Strixhaven's School of Mages.
Solve the equation.
It is Solve the Equation. I thought somebody might, say Expressive
Because
Iteration
it's the only
first.
one.
Well, Expressive Iteration is, it's blue.
Is not blue.
It is, in fact,
Multicolored,
half blue.
which includes blue.
half it's blue.
Oh,
Yeah.
God,
Hey,
shut up.
For what it's worth, Solve the Equation, the 3-mana sorcery, search your library for an instant or sorcery, put it in your hand, is worth more than Expressive Iteration.
Yeah, because Expressive Iteration just got banned.
It's true. It's got banned and it's had some printings, etc. But yeah, Solve the Equation it's a $3 card, an uncommon from Strixhaven.
Yeah, it is.
Mediocre tutors are good picks as a general rule.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good tutor, even. Yeah.
Like just cards that search for a specific type of card are just good picks, even if they are slightly worse than some other card that mostly does the same thing. You should always pick
Even
your
if it's a
Fabricates
5
and your
mana
Enlightened
cultivate that
Tutors
only
and all-
finds
if it-
a 7 mana Nissa from a Planeswalker pack.
Yeah.
that
still a
is
tutor.
also. I mean, there are some of those that like are worth something. That is
Okay,
wild.
so
Yeah.
mine's expensive, and you're either going to get it right away or you're going to
Never.
take a long time and be frustrated. I think a lot of our listeners will take a long time and be frustrated. They won't know this card. It is a Saviors of a Kamigawa uncommon.
I'm ready. Let's go.
It is black. It is $5.
You say what? What about 5 colors?
$5.
Oh,
Throat Slitter.
is this
No.
based on that's Betrayers?
Is it Hand of Cruelty? No, wait. What's-
No, can you imagine if that was $5?
Is this based on my
wish.
pick of the week last week?
I don't remember your pick of the week last weekend, so I'm going to say definitely related.
I'm gonna claim victory here, and like I'm gonna pull a battle bots and just like take the W and let everyone else keep guessing.
Nobody gets that reference but me.
I know, you're welcome. It's a private, personalized reference. What else can you ask for?
He was referring to Grant Imahara and Jamie Heineman being politely, or Adam Savage being politely asked not to continue to use their BattleBot in the first BattleBots tournament because it was going to shower the audience with shrapnel. So they told them, "You won! Now we're going to do the rest of the tournament to see who gets co-first place. Please don't murder our audience."
Okay. Sure.
Sure,
That was certainly a reference. We'll go with that.
It is a 2/2 black creature.
Miser.
Still not Hand of Cruelty.
Oh,
Something
rat.
Miser.
Locust Miser is $5.
Oh, I did it!
Max hand size is reduced by 2. The other one in the cycle, Nat Miser, is a 1/1 for 1, and each opponent's hand size is reduced by 1. So, like, these are legit cards, and rats are
Rats are always just
always,
solid picks.
but like, Caramonix, apparently people are like, oh, now we want to be playing Nat Miser. So I rescued 4 Locust Misers and 11 Nat Misers out of my bulk today. I just, for whatever
Ooh, good for
reason,
you.
didn't bulk them out. And I haven't picked this bulk in a couple years. I'm getting to like last in, first out, right? So like when I moved, the bottom
Well, that always-
boxes are the ones I'm getting to last, and they're like the least picked. So I'm
Well, doesn't that feel bad? You get to the last box and you're like, a Crow and Hoplite. What a great pick when I picked it 5 years ago for standard.
yeah. Or you find a Locust Miser and you're like, great, I have to look through all 5 rows of this box. I can't
That's
bulk
even
any of
worse.
this out until I
That's
recheck
an
it.
even worse feeling, no joke. Yeah.
Or just spend $25,000 and have a robot do it slowly while you sleep.
Also an option. All right, well, let's move on to the newest thing in Magic, and something that has a a lot of people, including myself, excited. Rebel is an expert on Lord of the Rings. I don't know. Rebel is a big fan of Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
As am I. Jason, DJ, do you care at all about it?
I like Lord
About
of the Rings, but
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
care that Aragorn is black. Apparently, people are mad about that.
Yeah, I did see that going around the internet. Yep.
So a bank, just got like $1 trillion bailout from the government. If you're mad about a black, Strider and not that, your priorities suck, and so do you. So,
True.
everyone who listens to this podcast already doesn't like people like that or associate people like that. But in case one of them is listening,
In case one of them has slipped through, you better get them.
all your thoughts are bad.
I am decidedly medium on the Lord of the Rings world building. I'm sorry, but I will say that I'm very happy that Wizards decided to make their first 1-of-1 card since
Hell yeah.
I want to say like what is it like
1996
Richard Garfield's
World
marriage or
Championship
something
winner?
like that?
Yeah.
There's what about the Heroes of the Realm cards?
There's multiples of those, right?
There's
I
thought
want to
so.
say there's more than one of each, but I could be
Yeah.
wrong.
I don't know. Maybe they gave the people a couple.
So I think the only 1-of-1 was the 1996 World Championship winner, which was a terrible card, but it's changed hands a little bit.
So what they're talking about, y'all, is the One Ring as a promotion where there is a special variant that will be in collector booster, a collector booster. I'm not going to say collector boosters. There will be one in the entire world who will have the One Ring. And when some child in Europe opens it and no one ever sees it again, I think that's even better.
I really
gonna-
hope it comes out of the pack with like a defect.
Yeah, I wondered about that too.
It's
I was
just
like,
a
what if it gets
misprint.
bent? What if it just gets bent in half on the way to the store? It happens.
That'd be perfect.
Then you should have had the eagle fly it, Corbin. You fucking idiot.
So the One Ring is indestructible. It costs 4 mana. Enters the battlefield. If you cast it, you gain protection from everything until your next turn. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose a life for each burden counter. You can tap it and draw a card to put a burden counter on it, and then draw for burden counter.
But
Lots
the
go
One
ahead.
Ring is a Soul Ring, right? The one out of one ring
Correct.
is a version of a Soul Ring. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then we've got the normal card.
The
that's
actual-
the One Ring
yeah.
in the set. Yeah.
Wait, did I not notice that? I've been looking at pictures of that ugly piece of shit all day, and I didn't notice it was a Soul Ring. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
all of them are
I
Soul
don't
Rings.
read fucking Elvish. No, wait, the One Ring,
You don't
the one
read
of one
Ten War?
is costs 4 mana. It's not a Soul Ring. It costs 4 mana.
Yeah. No,
What are you talking about?
God.
What am I missing?
That's Commander. It's a Soul Ring, Jason. Come on, man. There's also the promo Soul Ring.
What are you
In
talking
the set.
about?
Yeah,
Right,
there's
those are-
3
those are-
versions.
yeah.
One for for the rings for men, the rings for the dwarves, and the rings for the elves.
I saw that, and I was kind of happy that we did serialized cards again, like Brothers War. The non-foil rings for the men or whatever, of which there are 9. There are the Elven Soul Rings, the Dwarven Soul Rings, and the Human Soul Rings. There are 3,000 non-foils. Oh, they're non-serialized. Okay, no, I'm wrong. They're
Yeah.
9,000 non-foil, non-serialized. Okay, the
So
foils.
there's 300, 700, 900, and then 1.
I'm not the biggest fan of serial numbers going this high. This is
Yeah.
900. This is 1,900 total serialized Soul Rings. 1,901, I guess. Like every digit that they add to serialized cards diminishes the value of having that card with a serial number. Like nobody
agree.
cares if your Soul Ring has this like the barcode for bread at Wegmans or whatever. Like it's 00 number 000579. If it has a phone number on it, it's not like good. It's not cool. It's not rare. Like
I agree. 500 is like honestly my upper bound.
yes,
on
500
caring
is
about it.
too many in my 1 of 100 is very good, very
Yeah.
clean, even number, very very happy round number that makes brain juice go burr. Like I think they could have done these 30, 70, 90 and still had the same cool impact. I don't know. What do you think, Rebel?
Well, I do like the idea that there's maybe not 9,000 is probably too much, but maybe 900. I would like it to be a little more accessible so that when you open it, you get the excitement of like, oh wow, even if it's not that,
Well, they did do that. There's 9,000 non-foil, non-serialized ones. But I'm saying that the foil double rainbow serialized extra special ones should be chases.
That's so many words. So many words.
Because right now there are 19,000 non-foil, non-serialized. I realize I've said those words a lot, and there's some semantic satiation going on there. But, like, that's so many versions of that, which is okay, but I want the chase ones to be chases.
Yep, I hear you. I'll say that I'm a huge fan of
these are going to be chased by people outside of Magic. Isn't that the point?
Well, yeah, right, if it works out that way. I'm going to be chasing the basic lands. I think they're awesome.
Don't you think it'd be cooler, though, if it was actually just like the 9 rings of men, the 3 rings of elves, and the 5, dwarven rings?
If it was X of 9, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
It would be cooler because then it would be like actually like Lord of the Rings, where you give it to each of them, and you can know like, oh, for the 9 like ring wraiths, basically these are the 9 actual people in the real world who have them.
Yes, that would be the best case scenario.
Yeah, I think so too. Especially, could have like named the rings.
We are also getting reprints of very, very high demand cards with the, I don't know what you want to call it, Lord of the Rings treatment, or like Lord of the Rings
Godzilla style.
Godzilla style is the weird term that we use that you know what we mean. But like Wasteland, things like Great Henge, just actually important cards getting reprints through weird avenues that help dilute some of the demand for that card.
But this
I
is
just
cool.
realized, does that mean Wasteland is in Modern now?
No, because these are buy box promos.
Oh, okay.
These specific reprints are box toppers.
Oh, yeah, I see. Okay.
Ensnaring Bridge and Wasteland are the other ones that we've seen. Bridge of Khazad-dûm and Valley of Gorgoroth. So we've only got maybe a dozen cards or so from the set, but it's some big names. Rebel, what do you like if you look at the previews? What stands out to you from what we've seen so far, either in like a Magic competitive way, or even in just like what seems like a big LOTR win for you?
So I haven't looked through too many of the cards today because I was actually kind of busy. But in general, I going into the set, I wasn't super excited because I was a little nervous. Like, how are the cards gonna behave? And in general, like Universes Beyond, I'm like kind of I like them, but I'm not super excited by them all the time. And then there's like an inner dormant Lord of the Rings nerd that was like stuck inside. And then once the cards started coming out, then I start hearing the Howard Shore music, just like looking at them, and I'm like, it's all coming back now. So in general, I am really enjoying like how the cards mechanically work. They're not super powerful. At least not. Actually, no. I remember there's a white remand, which is really cool.
Well, the white remand is definitely very cool. But you're right. The overall power level of some of these mythics is, not like pushing modern playability here.
Yeah, I just looking at them, the cards just seem very fun to play with. So I'm happy with that, and I get to have it with the Lord of the Rings skin. So I'm having a good time with them.
And we are nearing our reality of Gandalf cruising in on the Givrog monster with a +2 mace or whatever mix max of.
I was thinking today, actually, just now. It's very realistic that you can have a Space Marine fight Frodo, and like Frodo might somehow kill the Space Marine.
Yeah, so you'll like this mechanic, everyone at home. Or you'll hate it. It's one of the two. Frodo, Sauron's Bane, is a 1-mana, 1/2 white creature, legendary creature, halfling citizen. For 2 mana, which is white and black hybrid, so 2 white or black. If Frodo, Sauron's Bane is a citizen, it becomes a halfling scout with base power, toughness 2/3, and lifelink. And then for 3 black, if it's a scout, it becomes a halfling rogue whenever this creature does combat damage to a player. That player loses the game if the ring has tempted you 4 or more times this game. Otherwise, the ring tempts you. And that's the big mechanic in this set, is getting tempted by the ring.
What is getting tempted by the ring? I haven't seen an explanation of that yet.
I think it's
It's-
probably just like a threshold mechanic, right?
It's like an initiative monarch thing where it's an outside the game action, I believe, where it's like a count to 4 system
Yeah.
of just like when it does the thing, you get
It's like
you
a
get
scent.
a ring counter, then you get 2 ring counters, 3 ring counters. On the 4th ring counter, they die or whatever.
Yeah, or it interacts with other stuff. It's like a send, I think, basically. You're just counting something else up outside the game. We've seen Mount Doom. We've seen Sauron. We've seen
So it's just literally being tempted doesn't do anything as far as we know, but like
As far as
keeping
we
tracks
know.
of how many times we've been tempted matters.
That's correct.
Okay.
And it seems to be
Makes sense.
4, right? Like, it seems to be a threshold mechanic, as they would describe it, wherein getting tempted by the ring, X times does a thing.
I'm not a card designer, but I felt like the ring mechanic could have also been something like Monarch. I used to play this strategy game called Battle for Middle Earth. I played a lot of it, and one of the most exciting parts is that there's a one ring that you can get from Gollum, and then the faction that gets it, you can get like a superpower and stuff like that. And like the idea that this one ring can be traveling between players based on like what you're doing, seems pretty exciting to me as well.
Everyone's
But
like, this
excited to
ring
see
is
how
so
temptation
powerful.
works.
Any army that gets hold of this ring will be unstoppable. And then Frodo gets the ring. He's like, I'm going to be an unstoppable army. And it's like, nope, you just turn invisible and monsters know where you are. This ring sucks. I don't understand why everyone's fighting over it. It's like, I got the one ring. And then he opens up the booster pack and then Nazgul attack him. What the? Ah!
I had a friend, a casual Magic friend, I sent some of these cards to. And I thought this was good enough. I want to read it. Frodo's card should just literally be blank unless Samwise is on the field. And even then, the Frodo card should just generate baggage tokens. Well, that was very solid.
Might be like a mutate like mechanic where you have to put, Frodo right underneath Sam so he can carry him.
Yeah.
Hey, they're not human, right? That works.
Yeah, they bust out bust out the mechanic from Unstable. Put them next to each other.
I actually really like
So-
that mechanic. That was fun.
So
It was.
nobody could carry the ring Frodo, but Sam could carry Frodo.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they just give the ring to like a rat or something and just carry the rat?
I made the eagle joke already, Jason.
No, the Nazgul are why he could do the eagle. As soon as the eagle grabbed the
Jason's-
ring, like Sauron would see it and then said the Nazgul to kill the eagle.
So you're saying put the ring, like tie the ring onto a rat, put the rat
just
in
carry the
in a
rat,
box,
and then no one will bother you.
and just put it in a little briefcase and sneak it into Mount
Well, no,
Doom.
you got to poke holes in the lid. You got to keep the rat alive.
Why?
What do you mean why? Because it's holding the ring, and we're not going to kill animals on this podcast.
Ownership passes to you if the rat dies because you're closest. Is that like? What's
You
the
throw the
problem?
rat in the volcano. You don't kill it before you throw the rat in the volcano.
Okay.
I mean,
I
yeah,
was thinking
you're
more
going
about-
to kill the rat, but don't kill the rat early.
PETA, if you're listening, our email address is brainstormbrew@gmail.com.
All right, let's wrap things up here. Let's head on into pick of the week. So, for reference, we've talked about Lord of the Rings. That's not the next set coming out. The next set coming out is March of the Machines, of which we also have some previews. So, this was the big reveal for Lord of the Rings. The set itself will still be, a number of months before it's out.
Well, not us. We don't get a preview.
What would you want to preview, Jason? What would be like your thing in Lord of the Rings?
Something that gains control of a creature. Or lets you play other creatures' abilities. That's my shit.
I was just trying to think what that would be.
Well, they've revealed 8 cards from the set, so maybe one that hasn't come out yet.
I'm thinking I'd be. They've got to have a like artifact that's a pipe, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like that's just that's the whole thing. Or that's like Gandalf's entire reason for loving hobbits. Is just goes and smokes with them.
So, does Smog have an ability where you can't play the card Guild on him? Like it just pisses him off?
That's only in the movie, but that's a good one, Jason. I like that. That's not in the book, but good for you, man.
I had to read The Hobbit in 8th grade.
Oh, I love it, man. I read it. I read it to Ben. I read The Hobbit out loud, every word of it to Ben over the past year. It was fun.
When I was in 7th grade, the other English class read The Hobbit and we read The Giver, and I was like, are we in remedial English? Like,
We got hosed in that one for sure.
The Giver's for 8-year-olds, but okay. Brutal. Just brutal.
I also read The Giver. Hated it.
What a boring
I think I hated almost every book they made me read in school. But then there was one that I secretly liked, but I couldn't like give up my cred of having never read the school book, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I liked Brave New World. That was like the only book they ever made us read that I liked.
Lord of the Flies was a good book.
We never did Lord of the Flies. Instead, going into high school, I had to write a book report on Great Expectations, 1 page for every chapter. The 60-something chapter book.
Did you go to Spider-Man's high school?
It's the worst book I've ever been forced to do work on. I'm not going to get out here and like judge it or whatever. That book was not fun.
I don't think we should
Not
have to
that.
read any book written in the 18th century.
It's
Or
just
the
bizarre.
19th century even. Like,
Would have
just-
been, yeah. We had to do Frankenstein. I think I liked that one. Anyway, my school did not have some of the fun ones. Like we never did Lord of the Flies, which would have been a good one. We want to take this opportunity to shout out our sponsor, Coalesce Apparel and Designs. We have seen the Brainstorm Brewery shirts.
Look at that.
Oh, look at that. It's getting updated as we speak. I was going to say, there are new products coming out constantly, including our own Brainstorm Brewery products. But as DJ showed, there's also lots and lots of other great stuff on there from lots of content.
I was trying to
creators,
get Jason. I'm trying to get Jason to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds because it has the Akira slide in it. Like you can't just. it's
Batman
so
the
iconic.
Animated Series has a Akira slide in it, and you don't have to say 5D's nuts every time you tell somebody what you're watching. Just saying.
You lost me on that one, but that's okay. Use the gift code Brainstorm Brewery if you do go to Coalesce Apparel, which you should right now. Alt tab from this podcast, unless of course you're driving, safety first, blah blah blah. Coalesce Apparel and Design uses gift code Brainstorm
Corbin, you
Brewery.
can probably use a Google Assistant at some point. You could say, "Hey Google" or "Hey Siri" or
You could set it up to just like
Alexa,
have a standing order. You could have your card, put your card in, do it. It's just like, hey, buy me a new Coalesce shirt, please,
They like
Siri.
to chat, play games, and answer questions together.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Very much appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I watch a YouTube streamer who figured out how to make. You can order a pizza on Oblivion in game, like the Elder Scrolls game. You can set it up with a
Wow.
mod so that you
Sure.
talk to a specific NPC, and then he's like greetings or whatever, and then you press a certain dialogue option, and then he's like thank you for your order, and then 20 minutes later a pizza shows up to your door from Domino's. So like if you
Wow.
can, if that technology exists, you can order a Coalesce hoodie and or shirt and or sticker with your voice somehow.
Good. You know what? The future is here. We'll see what it looks like. The AI will be ordering your shirts for you. All right, let's wrap things up with some picks of the week. And
Pick of the week, pick of the week, pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
I'm going to jump in first here. I've had this one holstered for a couple weeks, watching it creep up. But Arcades, the strategist, however you pronounce that word in your
I bet
house,
it's strategist.
is $4 and starting to climb back up. It was $10 in the past. It got a Times Power remastered printing, which is actually an old border printing. So if you're interested in that version, it's also $4. But yeah, we've seen it moving up. Sooner or later, we'll get some, other Defender focused theme that'll spike this thing up. But it's a good card. It's climbing up at $4. Big fan of Arcades.
My friend made a sliver commander deck out of Arcades.
Really?
Because there's a sliver that turns all the slivers into
Defender.
defenders.
Defender.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. That's a good one, actually. So then your Arcades as a commander is just like a card value engine.
Yup, and you just draw all your slivers.
Sliver commander life. All right. Jason, why don't you hop in next? What are you looking at?
Halo Fountain, specifically the borderless version,
Mhm.
and the foil. Borderless is like the same price as the non-foil. It's real weird. Halo Fountain's a legit card, and white is just getting more go wide stuff every set. I don't know, man. I looked at Halo Fountain because I'm going to build Drana and Linvala.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure I've seen this
be able to
card before.
untap Drana and
Oh, they're
Linvala
awesome.
and make a soldier to untap your commander seems sweet. This card's just really good, and it's really cheap. And New Capenna was 11 sets ago. 3 months, 11 sets. So, people have already forgotten about it. So get your Extended Art Halo fountains. If you like foils, I don't. If you do like foils, they're like the same price as the non-foil. That one of those is incorrect. Although collector boosters have pretty much destroyed the foil. But specifically on the extended border, I think foils are a thing on those for whatever reason. So, both foil and non-foil extended border Halo fountains. They're cool looking, and they're
I didn't know
money.
this card existed. I don't know if I've seen it at least in a minute. This is a cool card.
Its historical high has been $14, and its historical low has been like what it is now. Basically, it's up $1 on Card Kingdom from its historical low, but on TCG Player you can still get for these for under $6, and that's just wild.
Of course, all of our picks come courtesy of our generous sponsor, MTG Stocks. The best place on the internet for all your Magic finance info, the best place to get a premium membership and keep updated on that finance info is MTG Stocks Premium, as well as the Brainstorm Brewery Patreon. But go check out MTG Stocks, the #1 place where we get all of our picks and breaking bulks every week, because it just has the information that I've always wanted to exist. And it has it going back a decade.
So I guess my pick of the week is Staff of Completion. I think people on Twitter have been talking about it a lot because of how underpriced. It's like a couple dollars right now, right?
Yeah, it's.
And
I'll look it up real quick here just to give you the correct answer. Yeah, it's like $3 to $4.
Yeah, I think Staff of Completion at $3 to $4 is pretty cheap, and I think you give it like a year or two, it might be like a $10 rare. Be cool.
Yeah,
It
I
seems
mean
like
it's
something
a
that
it's a
people really like in
mythic,
Commander,
which helps
yeah.
a lot, right? And then, it also strikes me as a card that has combo potential at some point, just because these cards always have combo potential, right? That have the ability to reset themselves. So yeah, Staff of Completion is a cool one. I don't remember what is this card based on, Jason? What was the one that used to be a big Commander card that no one plays anymore?
That what's based on?
Staff of Completion.
Staff of Completion.
It's the Mirodin one.
Staff of Domination.
Yeah.
Staff of Domination, yeah. So I couldn't remember exactly which one it was, but yeah.
I'm playing that in Drana and Linvala. It turns out you just want to untap your commander no matter what you have to play to do it.
Yeah, and I guess that's the easiest.
Staff Domination's fine, man. It was really expensive a couple years ago when they reprinted. Yeah, it's getting played less in Commander now, though. But yeah, it's still a legit card. It does all the stuff you want it to do.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a Staff of Completion looks good as well. All right, DJ, finish it off. What are you looking at this week?
I am mid on this particular pick, but
Okay.
I like the words that appear on the card, and I'm gonna try to pronounce it. Drivnod, Carnage Dominus. Cards that repeat game actions that are popular to players generally go up over time if they avoid reprints. If you see something say the word whenever on a card, that's great. If the rules triggered ability appear in a card text, that's also generally very good.
Yeah.
Being an 8/3 is weird, but it does have a pseudo-free way to make itself indestructible forever. But just like having that Teysa Karloff effect in a monocolor engine is probably fine. Just doubling all your Blood Artist triggers, doubling all your Grave Pact effects, that kind of thing. So
well, yeah,
it's like a $3 card, which is very, very low. All of Mythics and Phyrexia seem to be popular and powerful. They can't all be $10 cards, of course, like they were when the set came out. But this and Mondrak are the clear winners in terms of just like providing engines that do things that are popular. Mondrak's, of course, the big one because it's very, very expensive. But this one might be getting a little undersold, I think, at $3.
I think you might be right, especially because, I mean, it's an 8/3 that can become indestructible for paying life. It's got abilities. Like, Standard's a weird format. a $3 mythic from a set like this easily becomes a $5 to $10 card if it pops up either now or after rotation. So I don't know. I like these. I really like the picks of the week that happen to be on mythics that are new, because we do see a lot of movement, especially now as people are coming back to paper Magic. Like, I mean, look at Shieldred, for instance, right? Like, it's just, we see some very expensive cards in standard formats. So I like Drivnod as the pick as well for that reason.
This is one of those cards that you can tell people the name of the card and they'll just stare at you blankly.
Yep.
Like, it's just one of those legendary creature names. It's just a Scrabble hand. It's just your cat stepped on the keyboard. It is like there's no rhyme or rhythm to it. It's just words. It's just letters and words.
We're all just letters and words when you think about it online, DJ. What is a
I don't know if our sponsors even want us to pitch the cast after that.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps us up. Thank you again to Rebel for coming on the cast tonight. Rebel, remind us, where can people find you across the internet if they want to follow your content?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me here. I had a really great time. And you can find me on YouTube. Just look up Rebel Sun. The most important part is there's 2 L's in my name. So you would definitely want to have that second L, or you'll find a very different channel. Or you can find me on Twitter, Sun Rebel, which is flipped, but again, 2 L's.
All right. Check out Rebel's content. It is well worth it, I promise. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Shout out to our sponsors, Coalesce and MTG Stocks, and shout out to all of our Patreons who make this cast possible by going to patreon.com/BSB. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.